These videos are part of the William and Flora Hewlett Foundation's effort to share the results of the evaluation that the Aspen Planning and Evaluation Program is conducting of the Foundation's strategy to strengthen local advocacy in sub-Saharan Africa for access to reproductive health and family planning. The strategy seeks to apply 5 principles to the grant-making approach. These are intended to shift power and resources towards civil society organizations who do the advocacy work on the ground. The Foundation hopes to see all 5 principles reflected in the work of the grantees and their CSO partners, and the Foundation will hold itself to the same 5 principles. These videos discuss each principle, what the evaluation is finding, and the experiences and perspectives of 2 members of the evaluation team who have decades of experience in civil society organizations across the continent. It is important that reproductive health advocacy priorities are designed and driven by local civil society organizations in Africa.
In general, the CSOs told us, yes, it was a reasonably collaborative process. But the question we had was, did the CSOs really have the resources, the power, the time to lead that process of setting those priorities?
Case in point was whereby CSOs have been campaigning against childhood marriages. Now, a child was forced to marry, and she ended up killing her husband. This child was charged with murder. But then what happened is that because the grantee gave autonomy and authority to the CSO to be able to decide how to use the resources, the CSO was immediately able to respond by making sure that they coalesced, brought together all other CSOs, and fought against the charge against this child. Therefore, what happened is that the child was released, and the child was not charged with murder anymore. So what we are saying is that whenever the grantees allow the CSOs to be able to use their time and authority, as well as money, in the way that they deem fit, then normally the advocacy achievements are seen very clearly.
Setting priorities is critical, and who decide how the priority are set is as critical, because in the example that you're giving, basically a grantee, like you say, is open enough to adapt to the fact that the CSOs could react to something that is happening in their environment. I think that's a key thing, because yes, more and more we talk about grantees and CSOs setting priorities together. And even in that, in a power dynamic where the grantee is the one who really holds the money, how much is it that really the CSO can decide no or yes about some of these priorities? We know that things have been evolving, and more CSOs have been being much more vocal, and more grantees have been much more open to hearing those voices. But we have to think, even after those priorities are set, even when the decisions are made, we live in very moving environments. Opportunities come up. You're talking about working for policy change. You have to be able to adapt very quickly and see what in your environment will allow you to push the work forward. And if you always have to go back and ask for permission or even be allowed or second guess, it can really make it harder to move.
Yes, indeed. We have also seen CSOs in the conflict setting struggling with setting priorities. Because when a program comes in for family planning, the communities are not really ready to plan the families, whereby they are sure that tomorrow the children might be killed in the conflict. Therefore, the CSOs usually need more time, not to focus on family planning, but rather to focus on building peace so that they can be able to accommodate family planning. Once they're sure that there is peace, then they know the children will stay alive, and then they can be able to space the children in the family.
Yeah, I guess the trust that the grantees have on how much the CSOs can read into the communities and really help set what the priority work should be is what we are actually talking about. and their willingness to really yield that power of choice about priority setting and changing and adapting and have that flexibility for the work to really happen.